32, if you are not in the lanes, we need you now. Pro 632, if you're not in the lanes, we need you now. At this time, we'll take Pro Street. Pro Street will take you to the lanes. Pro Street to the lanes, round number 1. Steading, right-hand side. P2 Contracting Chevrolet Camaro sits beside Raymond Matos. Steading comes in number 7. The championship point standings for Tie Drive, WIO Motorsports. Kurt Steading this weekend going to need a run-the-table type of program to put himself back in championship contention if he wants to go after it at the World Finals. Raymond Matos, left-hand side, the Pro-Line Power Chevrolet Camaro out of Puerto Rico. Can he rain on Kurt Steading's parade here in round 1? Steading is red. 009, too soon leaving the starting line, and Raymond Matos makes his best run of the weekend. 364.4, 206 miles per hour was 012 leaving the starting line, and Kurt Steading left the starting line 9 thousandths too soon, throws away a quicker 362.2, and Raymond Matos will move on to face off with Randy Weatherford in round number 2. Johnny Camp and Frank Falter, your next two to come to the starting line. Falter, a career best here in Pro Boost, put him in the number 14 qualified spot, a 371.3, and it puts him sitting beside Hells Bells. Johnny Camp, 359.1, put him in the number 3 qualified spot for Pro-Line Racing Fuel Tech Pro Charger. Brandon Stroud on the laptop for the black and orange Chevrolet Camaro, sitting on the left-hand side of the racetrack, sits beside the Candyman. Right-hand side for Frank Falter, making his either second or third start here in one of the toughest categories in drag racing, the Jerry Bickle Race Cars Built Chevrolet Camaro. Here on the right-hand side, packing a screw blower. He's got a tough customer here in round number 1. If he wants to turn on his first Pro Boost win light, you've got to get around one of the best in the business. For Tapman Electric, Camp Brothers Enterprises, Johnny Camp, your number 3 qualified car, went down in defeat in the opening round at Bristol. If I can guess anything about Johnny Camp, thrown that out the window, and he wants to come back with a vengeance here at Galot. The number 3 versus 14 matchup here in the opening round in Pro Boost. Falter is 15th thou red. Throws away a career best 368, but it was not enough either way. Johnny Camp lays one down, 361.2. 207 miles per hour for Camp. Johnny Camp will ring his way on to round number next without lane choice, as Camp will throw down with Melanie Salemi in round number 2, who put down that thunderous 358 elapsed time the opening round. So Johnny Camp and Melanie Salemi going to showdown in round number 2 as Jason Harris and Don Tolley complete their burnouts. Tolley, your number 15 qualifier, left side out of Bedford, Virginia. 2014 model Camaro. It's got a tough customer sitting beside one of 2 cars that went 355.9 last night. Harris missed number 1 by 1 miles per hour, or as he said it, 1 stinking thousandth of a second. So your number 2 qualified car, your reigning world champion, Jason Harris, the right-hand side of the racetrack for Party Time. Southern Diamond Company, SP Tools, and Hoosier Racing Tire flying the Pro Charger flag here this weekend is Jason Harris comes in number 3 in the championship standings. Number 2 and number 4 have advanced on. Jason Harris wants to keep that number 1 sticker on the window. He better get it done sitting beside Don Tolley. Don Tolley has got to come up here and put something in this car that he knows can go A to B in his car and be there. You're not going to pick up 3/10 from qualifying to eliminations, but you have to be there. You've got to make a full run. If Jason Harris slips, you've got to take advantage of a mistake on the right-hand side of the racetrack. Jason Harris, Don Tolley, your next pair. Both leave the starting line the same, and Jason Harris, how about 361.0? 9:06 to the short time, and Don Tolley makes his best run of the weekend by a 1/10 of a second. 374.3. Attaboy to that team right there. They were there, and that is the key in those kind of matchups. If you have to be there, if Jason Harris slips just a little bit to take advantage. But the defending world champion didn't slip on that one. Jason Harris on to round number 2, the showdown with Ed Marks in a prime time matchup with 8 cars remaining. Your final pair in category from a wild round number 1 is not only your points leader, but also your number 1 qualifier, Ty Tutterow. Right-hand side of the racetrack, the Quick Fuel Chevrolet Camaro for Justin Smith. WIO Motorsports, Ty Drive, and Redline Oil come into race day number 1. Not only on the qualifying sheet, but also on the point standings. Number 2, 3, and 4 have advanced in the opening round. Can Bubba Green get all of the Christmas cards from everybody else in Pro Boost with this matchup? Scotty Cannon setting the wheelie bars for Bubba Green on the left-hand side. Can the legend, Scotty Cannon, from the number 16 qualified spot, put something in the tank for Bubba Green to take down Ty Tutterow here in the opening round? We talk about championships. There are 8 rounds remaining for Ty Tutterow if he wants to wear the number 1 next season on that window for Justin Smith and Team Quick Fuel. To do that, you have to take everyone one at a time. This is the first one here in Drag Wars. The final pair in WS Construction Pro Boost round number 1. Can your number 1 qualifier carry on? It's been a wild round so far. Don't ever count anybody out. Bubba Green, Ty Tutterow, your final pair. Tutterow, reaction time advantage. Win like Tutterow, 360 with an 8. 208 miles per hour as Bubba Green makes his best run of the weekend, 375.1, but it's not enough when the toughest car in category right now is going 360 next door and 017 letting go of the trans brake button. Ty Tutterow on to round number 2. And that puts a bow on Pro Boost round number 1 as Extreme Pro Stock rolls to the ready line. Pro 632 is in the staging lanes. Pro Street, if you're not here, we need you now. Once again, Pro Street, we need you to the lanes. Round number 1 of pairings. So AED Performance Extreme Pro Stock, our opening round of eliminations, brings out our 4 versus 5 matchup. It's Chris Powers and Jeremy Huffman. Powers comes in with lane choice by 0.06 of a second. He chose the right-hand side of the racetrack. Jeremy Huffman, your number 2 man in the championship standings, over on the left-hand side of the racetrack from Catawba, North Carolina. the 3V Performance Cobalt, has to turn on a wind light. If he does not, and Alan Drinkwater turns on a wind light in the very next pair, that could deem disaster for Jeremy Huffman's championship hopes. Chris Powers, the defending world champion, knows how to get it done when the pressure is at its peak. The Sonny Leonard horsepower between the frame rails. Chuck Samuel calling the shots for the defending world champ, Chris Powers. So the winner of this matchup will move on to face Jordan Ensslin in a matchup in the semifinals as soon as Ensslin breaks the beams. Qualifying number 1 on an odd number of cars gets you a bye here in the opening round. Jeremy Huffman won a shot at a world championship. Better go get this win light. Oh, by the way, you got to take down the defending world champ to do so. Both drivers are pre-staged. Powers first to light it up. Comes up. 9 thou. Separate them off the starting line. They are side by side, door to door, and Jeremy Huffman needed every bit of that 4.068 to take down Chris Powers' 4.082, and he got there by 5 thousandths of a second. Both drivers going 177 miles per hour. Jeremy Huffman was 9 thou behind off the starting line, but gets there 5 thousandths of a second in front of Chris Powers. Jeremy Huffman, your championship hopes are still alive. Stephen Boone and Alan Drinkwater. Boone, left-hand side, your number 6 qualified car. Qualified in at a 410. And Alan Drinkwater, the Maitland, Florida, 29-year-old, driving the 08 Ford Mustang for Flat Out Gaskets, comes in as your points leader. Has a 3-round lead after the Bristol race completed. Just saw Jeremy Huffman turn on a wind light. So this one's big. Alan Drinkwater knows he's got to keep pace with Jeremy Huffman, or else could get dicey. Whenever it comes down to the World Finals in just 3 weeks. Both drivers on the starting line know how to get it done in pressure situations. Both of them have stood on the stage at the PRI show as a world champion. But right now, it's all going to see who crosses the scales as a winner here in round number 1. For Alan Drinkwater, this means a lot. If you want another world championship, you better get it done right here. For Stephen Boone, do you want to be the giant killer? For Alan Competition and AED Performance, little Alan versus Kazi horsepower matchup on the starting line. Boone, first to stage is Alan Drinkwater. We'll roll it in second. Drinkwater leaves the starting line first and will get to the finish line first. How about 4.06? 177 miles per hour, and oh, by the way, we were 009, letting go of the clutch pedal. Alan Drinkwater keeps pace with Jeremy Huffman in the opening round of Drag Wars. Pair Dave Hughes and Elijah Morton. Morton comes in your number 2 qualified car, 4.064. Turns on a number 2 spot on the qualifying sheet. Sits beside Dave Hughes, the Nazareth, Pennsylvania-based HRE. Manifolds Camaro, left-hand side, qualified at a 415. Knows he's got to find a little bit of horsepower in the tank to keep up with the double trouble Ford Mustang for Easy Living Wheels and Allen Competition engines. Sitting on the right-hand side of the racetrack. Pro Street, if you're not here, we need you. And at this time, Super Street will take you to the lanes. Super Street, if you're not here already, we'll take you to the lanes. Pro Street, final call. Super Street, first call. Bring them on down. Dave Hughes and Elijah Morton. Next two going to light it up here on the starting line. Hughes rolls it in first. Morton second to stage. Hughes drives into tire shake, drives it all over the racetrack. Can't hold on. 4:07 for Elijah Morton. We'll turn on a wind light and move Elijah Morton onto the semifinals with a matchup against Alan Drinkwater. Ladder by with 7 cars here, and Ensslin takes it down the racetrack. 4:07, straight, true, and consistent as that kid's been all weekend long. 4:07 for Jordan Ensslin. We'll take him to the semifinals against Jeremy Huffman. That one means a lot when it comes to championship. Pro 632 rolling out now. Category J.C. Beatty Jr. and Jason Ventura. If you go by the qualifying sheet, see the most even match cars we got. Side by side when they leave the starting line. Ventura with a reaction time advantage, and Jason Ventura with his best run of the weekend and picked a great time to do it. 4:17 at 170 miles per hour, and Jason Ventura going to find his way to round number 2 with his best run of the weekend, taking down J.C. Beatty Jr. couple of teammates going to roll to the starting line and do battle. Kyle Salmonen, left-hand side. The 03 Cavalier comes in, number 9 qualified, sits beside Nicole Liberty. Marine City, Michigan, Liberty's Gears Firebird. The right-hand side of the racetrack, qualified number 6 in one of the quickest and tightest 632 fields in some time. Nicole qualified number 6 at a 4:15. Yes, I said 6 at 4:15. These two battling out here in round one. Salmonen reaction time advantage, and Salmonen with a whole shot win. 4:20 with a 2, beats the quicker but losing. 4:16.9 for Nicole Liberty. Kyle Salmonen gets there by 13 thousandths of a second for a whole shot win here in round number 1. Brian Kloss, left-hand side, your number 10 qualified car, sits beside Jeff Pittman, the Hickory enclosed trailer sales. Chevrolet Chevelle, right-hand side out of Hickory, North Carolina, the number 5 qualified car in category for Greenbrier Excavated and Paving, one half of the team. Pittman will sit beside Brian Kloss here in round number 1. Leads the starting line, 3 thou red. As Jeff Pittman will light the lamp with a wind light, 4:16.1, 169 miles per hour. And Jeff Pittman will move on. Walt Lanigan rolls into the water box on a competition broke single as Ed McLemore not making the call here in the opening round, as Lanigan will stage up the 2010 model GTO for David Cook Construction here in round number 1. Competition broke single. Walt Lanigan take his competition single here. That will put him with a round 2 matchup against Jeff Pittman. Lanigan 4:17.2, 169 miles per hour for Lanigan will put him into the next round as Jeff Melnick and Gary Hood roll up next pair. Gary Hood, left-hand side. A couple of 4:30 elapsed times and put him in qualifying spot number 12. Jeff Melnick, number 3. Qualifying sheet A 4:12. Put him on the number 3 qualifying spot. Gary Hood leaves the starting line 009 with an advantage over Jeff Melnick, but Jeff Melnick has the horsepower. 4:13.9, 171 miles per hour for Team Greenbrier. So Melnick will move on to round number 2. Gary Hood, 009 leaving the starting line. Had that straight line advantage going down the racetrack, but it was all gone by the 60-foot clocks. Jeff Melnick will move on. Hoyle and Tara Jarvis going to be your next pair to come out. Hoyle, a career best, 4:12 with a 7. 170 miles per hour on the ATI Performance Products Chevrolet Camaro left-hand side of the racetrack. Tara Jarvis, her first race back on. A little bit of trouble in the Jarvis Marine S10. Trying to get that sorted out and get up to the line. Carson Hoyle, your number 2 qualified car, sits patiently on the left-hand side of the racetrack. A 4:17.4, 169 miles per hour will turn on a win light for the ATI Performance Chevrolet Camaro as Jarvis continues to have issues in the S10. Mike Fiorelli, your number 1 qualifier out of Hollywood, Florida. 4:12 with a 3. Elapsed time to put himself in that spot. For Chassis Engineering and Wilson Manifolds, car led the way out of the 13 cars that took time in qualifying yesterday. An odd number of race cars find you a bye in the opening round of eliminations. Mike Fiorelli, our final car in category. Take his 68 model Chevrolet Camaro down the right-hand side of the racetrack here at Galot Motorsports Park. This time, Elite Top Sportsman. Elite Top Sportsman, if you are not on the way, come on down. Elite Top Sportsman will take you to the lanes now. Elite Top Sportsman will take you to the lanes. He puts one down on the single 4:13.5. Good way to close out Pro 632, brought to you by PTC, is Mike Fiorelli. Your number 1 qualifier continues with the performance. 4:13, 169 miles per hour. So at this time, if you were one of the ones that purchased a 50-50 ticket, get out your tickets. See if you are a winner here at Galot Motorsports Park. You're on a absolutely Chamber of Commerce gorgeous Saturday here in the month of September. So once again, if you're a person who bought into the 50-50 drawing, get out your tickets. We'll call out our winning number, see who takes home a little bit of cash here on Saturday. So the winning number, the 50-50 drawing, 776-4606. Once again, 776-4606, your winning 50-50 number. If you have that, bring it to race control. We'll think about giving you your winnings. We will have a 5% consulting fee and currently a 5% storage fee for holding your winnings here in race control. Also a 10% dinner fee, and tips are appreciated. it's time. Liberty's Gears Pro Street. 10.5-inch tire monsters here at the PDRA. 15 drivers put themselves on the qualifying sheet here at Drag Wars. Ron Green and Bill Riddle, your first pair out here in the opening round. Fletcher Cox, your number 1 qualifier, will get a bye in the opening round because of 15 cars. But right now, check out this matchup right off the ramps. Bill Riddle, Ron Green. Riddle was quicker by 0.06 of a second in the opening round of qualifying. Both of them went 396. Bill Riddle did it 0.06 of a second quicker. The 89 model Camaro on the right-hand side of the racetrack. Head lane choice, chose the right lane. Ron Green, the Chesterfield, Virginia-based 2000 model Firebird. The left-hand side of the racetrack. Going to try to take down the past world champion in Bill Riddle. They leave the starting line. Ron Green with an advantage. In the top end, Ron Green with a win on a hole shot. 396.0 takes down a quicker but losing 395.0 by 0.07 of a second. Ron Green takes the Game Changer Firebird onto round number 2, racing both ends of the racetrack. Ron Green will move on. Marty Miralat and Andy Manson, your next 2 to roll out. Miralat, left-hand side, ran a career best 397 last night to go to the number 10 qualified spot. Andy Manson, right-hand side for DeSoma Race Engines, PTP Racing, out of Manassas, Virginia, in the 96 model Mustang. Qualified number 7 at a 395.7. 189 miles per hour for Manson. If you're watching at home on FloRacing, the quick drive drone. You a close-up shot of Andy Manson backing up from the burnout. Here in round number 1. 2 drivers that made very good runs yesterday to put themselves on the qualifying standings. The number 7 and 10 spot. For Marty Miralat, it's been a tough year for that team. Started out the year in Bradenton, Florida with a fire. Got into the wall up in Milan, Michigan a couple of weeks ago. They have put that car back together with help from Haltech, atomized with Motion Raceworks, Pro Charge, and TBM brakes, and more. And Marty Miralat last night, a career best 397. Got to give that team some confidence. But he's got a tough customer on the right-hand side, and Andy Manson. Your second pair in Liberty's Gears Pro Street, presented by Mentor Motorsports. About to come at you right now. A couple of Ford Mustangs. We'll do about it. Miralat with a reaction time advantage. Can he hold off Andy Manson? Yes, he can. And yet another career best, but I think Marty Miralat's in the wall. Miralat, I do believe, got into the wall on the top end of the racetrack, and that team will have to get to work. Hopefully, it looks like he was able to keep it off the wall without hard damage, but when both parachutes came out, I think it picked the back of the car up and took that Ford Mustang to the left side retaining wall. Marty Miralat turns on a wind light and takes down Andy Manson's 397 with a 396.9, which was a career best for Miralat. If you're at home on FloRacing, we're going to watch it back on the instant replay. Both parachutes come out, back of the car sliding around a little bit, and he held on to it as much as he could and just kissed it right off the left side retaining wall on the back quarter panel, and then gets it with the front side. So Marty Miralat and that team will have some work to do to try to make it back for round number 2. As he comes around the corner, it looks like all 4 wheels turning pretty nicely. Hopefully not a lot of flat spots, but you can see the left scuff on the quarter panel of that car. It's the top end pusher quad, pushes him around. Marty Miralat and that team got work to do, but they turn on a wind light in round number 1 with yet another career best. Our cleanup is now complete out on the racetrack. Our next pair will fire off here in just a moment. At this time, we'll take Larice Motorsports Insurance, Elite Top Dragster. Elite Top Dragster will take you to the lanes. Elite Top Dragster will take you to the lanes for round number 1 pairings. Elite Top Dragster, we need you now. So a big matchup here in round number 1. Ethan Stedding, your number 2 man in points, rolls to the starting line, your number 6 qualifier, and he sits beside a dangerous opponent in Chris Tootin. Tootin in the muffler shop of Columbia, 87 model Mustang. He's had a year of up and downs, but since the rebuild after a crash in Maryland, this car has looked better than ever. Ethan Stedding has been fighting wheel stands all weekend long to keep in the championship hunt. Ethan Stedding has to find a win light here in round number 1. But he sits beside a legend in the small tire category, and Chris Tootin. Gonna build the boost in the Mustang. Can he take down the defending world champ? Tootin's car goes silent on the starting line, and Ethan Stedding's got it figured out. How about 394, 194 miles per hour for the defending world champ, as he will go on to round number 2. Chris Tootin, built boost, bumped into the stage beam, and the car just shut slam off on the starting line. So that teams will go out, push that car back, as, man, they have just had a tough go of it. Last couple of outings, get Chris Tootin's car pushed off the racing surface as Ethan Stedding is trying to make a late season charge to keep that number 1 sticker on the window. The P2 Contracting Chevrolet Camaro. First job's complete. Get through round 1. Now he has to wait and see his number 1 in championship standings, Blake Denton, do the same. So get Chris Tootin's car pushed out of the way. Our next pair, Mikey Cecina and Bobby Bingham, are sitting on go as soon as we have the racetrack clear. So once again, the winning 50-50 number, 776-4606. Nobody's claimed it yet. We're about to buy lunch. So 776-4606. You're the winning 50-50 drawing. Come see us in race control. Or don't. Lunch is getting close. It's Mikey Cecina and Bobby Bingham come to life. Both drivers complete the burnouts in their respective race cars. Mikey Cecina, left side, the higher qualified car, number 5. After qualifying last night, 394.7, a career best run for the orange Mustang out of Colorado, tuned by none other than Stevie Jackson out of Team KTR. Right side, Bobby Bingham, the absolutely gorgeous gold Chevy 2 Nova. The right-hand side of the racetrack, tuned by Resolution Racing Services own Evan Salemi. PDRA race cars built. Chevy 2 comes in. The number 12 qualified spot in a 4:05. A lap time, his best effort yesterday in 3 sessions of qualifying. You look at qualifying, got to give a little bit of a nod to Mikey Cecina. Took 2 runs to the finish line, while Bingham only took 1. If you're watching at home on FloRacing, you see Evan Salemi making the final adjustments to the wheelie bars on Bobby Bingham's Chevy 2 Nova. On the right-hand side of the racetrack is Mikey Cecina. Rolls up close to the pre-stage bulge. Another pair here in Pro Street. Stages it up and gets ready to go for the opening round of elimination. Mikey Cecina, Bobby Bingham, next two coming at you here at Pro Fabrication Drag Wars. Bingham leaves the starting line with a reaction time advantage, knocks the blower off of it on the top end of the racetrack, and Mikey Cecina drives it 720 feet to turn on a win light and 660 feet. 408 at 181 and needed every bit of it. Bobby Bingham had him on the Christmas tree, was out in front until the screw blower said kaboom on the top end of that Chevy 2. 418 at only 155 miles per hour, and all he could do was watch as Mikey Cecina drove by 42 thousandths of a second to turn on a win light here in round number one. If you're watching it on FloRacing, you're going to watch it back right here. Mikey Cecina's car immediately drove to the center line. Bingham's car had the wheels in the air and kaboom, knocks the blower off the top. And Mikey Cecina sneaks by about a half a car length to go 408 and turn on a win light here in round number one. Scott Kincaid and Mauro Caringi. Caringi had a wild ride yesterday in round number one. Held on to it, comes back to the final round to go 408. Scott Kincaid, two consistent runs down the racetrack in the 3-second range, put him the number 4 qualified position, the silver Camaro. The right-hand side of the racetrack sits beside Mauro Caringi from Old Canada. 69 model Camaro of his own, left-hand side, now building the boost for the turbos. Scott Kincaid with a huge reaction time advantage, and it's going to take him to a win light. 395, 195 miles per hour as Mauro Caringi goes 410 at 171, but it was not enough. He was not really on the ball when we let go of the trans brake button on the starting line with a reaction time that started with a 2. Scott Kincaid, 395.8, consistent and true right down the right-hand side of the racetrack here at Galot Motorsports Park to move on to round number 2. Couple of nitrous entries going to battle it out here in the 3 and 14 matchup. Number 14, right side, the Juice Man, Michael Martin, 69 model Camaro, the orange Chevrolet Camaro that he has driven for so many years for Albert horsepower between the frame rails, sits beside your points leader, Blake Denton, the 24-year-old electrician. You see the top 10 in points pop up on the screen for FloRacing. Can tell you right now, Blake Denton needs to turn on a win light if he wants a chance at a world championship. You watched Ethan Setting turn on a win light in round 1 just a few pairs ago. Just over a round separates these two drivers. Blake Denton wants to continue on as number 1 in the point standings. You better find a win light beside the Juice Man. It's your 3 and 14 matchup here in round number 1. A couple of nitrous cars going to sit side by side here at Galot. They go side by side down to the top end, and Michael Martin was there the whole way. Blake Denton had to be a little bit worried about that. 4:01, 193, needed every bit of it. As Michael Martin led that race till past the 330-foot cone. Little top-end horsepower for Denton. Needed every bit to go 4:01. Michael Martin, his best run of the weekend, 4:08, 178 miles per hour, and almost pulled off a huge upset in round number 1. Joe Thomas and Richard Reagan. Reagan, one of 2 cars to dip into the 380 range last night. 389.9 for one of his best runs in Pro Street trim. Sits beside Joe Thomas, the Charlottesville, Virginia-based American Dream 67 Chevy 2 Nova. It's got a tough customer over on the right-hand side with Tim Kincaid, Team KTR on board, helping Richard Reagan. That screw blower, really good shot on FloRacing right now. If you look inside the cockpit, Bubba completely focused. Your number 2 qualifier for Reagan Excavating out of Rutledge, Tennessee. Made 3 runs to the finish line, 396, 395, and the aforementioned 389.9 that put that car in the number 2 qualifying spot. Your next to last pair here in the category of Pro Street, and Richard Reagan gonna try to move on. The winner of this pair will face Marty Miralap when we come back. Joe Thomas, left-hand side, will be looking to pull off the upset. The Chevy 2 qualified in at a 4:18. Got his hands full with Richard Reagan. Thomas is red. Reagan Broadway, how about 396? Yet again, a consistent run for that car that continues to live in the 390 range. Richard Reagan on to round number 2. The number 1 qualifier with 15 cars. Congratulations. Get a shot at a bye in the opening round of eliminations. It's Fletcher Cox. Got to that number 1 qualifying spot. The 385.5, which is the first leg of a national record here in Pro Street. Brian Weddle currently holds it at a 386.4 from last season at the World Finals. And Fletcher Cox, 385.5, first leg of the national record. If he wants to back it up, you gotta go quicker than 389.3 at some point in the weekend. He has not done it yet. But you gotta back it up within 1%. So 385.5. Put this Chevrolet Camaro in the number 1 qualifying spot for the past Super Bowl champion with the Philadelphia Eagles. And now, Pro Street event winner. After winning the Thunder Valley Throwdown here on Thursday night, Fletcher Cox comes right back to go number 1 qualifying for Team KTR Glass Life Atlanta, keeping the 69 model Camaro shining right. Colin and the gang down there. See what Fletcher Cox has got for us. As soon as he takes to the tree, he will have a showdown with Ron Green in round number 2. Not what they were looking for. Fletcher Cox drops the hammer, and that car did not sound happy. He responded with that by lifting out of the pedal to try and save any bit of parts if something is broken. That team will go to work. They will lose lane choice. Second round of eliminations when they will come back to face off against Ron Green. They had that matchup in the Bristol Thunder Valley Throwdown event where Fletcher Cox turned on a win light. Ron Green looking for a little bit of get back. And they come back for round number 2. Now coming up, small tire category of Super Street. Elite Top Dragster. Elite Top Dragster, if you're not here, we need you. Elite Top Dragster. If you are not in the staging lanes, we need you now. Elite Top Dragster, we need you now. Matchup right here is a good one. 8 cars come to the line here for Super Street. Connor McGee, left-hand side. Shows down against the number 4 qualified car, Carson Perry. Perry had lane choice, went 450 last night. He chose the right-hand side of the racetrack, and Connor McGee, your number 1 man in points, needs to turn on a win light if he wants a shot at the World Championship. They leave the starting line, only 5 thousandths separate them. Top end, how about a whole shot win by 6 10,000ths of a second. Margin of victory is 0.0006. Connor McGee had 5 thousandths off the starting line. Carson Perry was 5 thousandths quicker and 6 10,000ths of a second. That is mere inches at the finish line. Connor McGee pulls one out right here at Galot in the opening round. So next pair, Brooks McMath and Matt Shallow. Shallow, a career best 456.7 last night to put that white 69 Camaro in the number 3 qualifying position out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. Sits beside Brooks McMath. McMath in his second Super Street event after purchasing this car. Pat Busey power between the frame rails. Don Bailey on board that hot rod doing some tuning. Put Brooks in the number 6 spot, 465.3. His career best in category thus far. So he sits beside a tough one. Here in round number 1, Matt Shallow debuted this car after some contact with a retaining wall back in Virginia in April. But they have had this thing on rails in less than 20 runs. The 2 drivers came from the state of Virginia, gonna battle it out here in round number 1. Can Matt Shallow keep the dream alive in the performance from last night, or does Brooks McMath pull off a little bit of an upset here in the opening round? Shallow reaction, time advantage. They go to the top end, and the win light goes to Matt Shallow, 458.9. Both drivers pretty much mirror their qualifying numbers, and Brooks McMath's 465 was just not enough. Matt Shallow looking good in the Canarium Racing Engines Chevrolet Camaro, 458.9. We'll move on to round number 2. Phil Hines and Austin Vincent. Vincent, the teal Mustang right-hand side, small block nitrous power. Qualified number 2 at a 456 and the loudest car on property. Phil Hines, Lebanon, Ohio, the 2001 Pro Charger Ford Mustang. Left-hand side for UPR products, Jessel, Ross Racing Pistons, HPL, VP Racing Fuels, and more. Phil Hines, qualified number 7, 478. Got a little bit of work to do. Samuel Vincent has had a handle on son Austin's Ford Mustang so far this weekend. He only made one run to the finish line, but went 456 to do so. Hines made 3 consistent runs down the racetrack, 488, 482, and the quickest being a 478. So it has to be a little bit in there. Try to pick at that 478 a little bit more, sneak it into the 460 range. But it doesn't look like it's even going to be a chance. Phil Hines has shut the car off after the burnout, and Austin Vincent will take a competition broke single into round number 2. Well, he will sit beside Matt Shallow as soon as he takes the beams. Hate that for Phil Hines and team. Something not liking the way the gauges look, but out on the race pack after the burnout. Austin Vincent, floor is yours. Vincent 111 short time, 461.6, 157 miles per hour, and I do believe he will lose lane choice in the semifinals beside Matt Shallow. This will be a number 2 and number 3 qualifier matchup. The semifinal round on the bottom half of the ladder for Super Street. It's 1 pair to go in category. We'll see your number 1 qualifier, Big Dan Weinstein. Went 456.1 to take that spot, and the owner, PTC Performance Torque Converters, Mr. Dustin Mewborn, comes in at the number 8 qualified spot. We'll be looking to take down the number 1 man from qualifying last night. Your final pair in category. It's your number 1 versus 8 matchup here in Super Street. We talked about Big Dan. Last night, a big time run out of that team, 456. Put them leading the charge here into race day. It's Dustin Mewborn, the Team PTC runner. The left-hand side out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Got his hands full with a tough customer out of La Plata, Maryland. Mewborn builds the Boost and Mustang. Winstein rolls in. Both out and gone. Winstein just to drive it all over the racetrack a little bit. Goes 462, and Dustin Mewborn makes his best run of the weekend, 485, and it's not enough. Big Dan goes 462. Had to drive it all over the racetrack. Will sit beside Connor McGee when they come back for the semifinals in Super Street. Brought to you by Brian's Heating and Cooling. So now, turn our attention to Elite Top Sportsman. So we'll move into our quickest 16 Top Sportsman cars after qualifying. So they will showdown for 4 rounds of eliminations. Got a host of cars that are some of the toughest in the business. If you didn't go quicker than 4:06.1, you didn't make it in the field on the elite side. So Brian LaFlamme led the way after qualifying. Brian LaFlamme is also your series points leader.
Top Sportsman presented by PDRA Engines. Our first pair completing their burnout. Dwayne Gallagher here on the right-hand side out of Cedarville, Ohio, the 68 Camaro, and Jamie Fowler, the pimpin' and limpin' machine on the left-hand side. Fowler for PD Fleet, Fulton Competition Race Engines, dials in at a 379. He's going to try to run down Dwayne Gallagher here on the right-hand side as he's dialed in at a 390. Fowler left side, 379, 390 for Gallagher here on the right. Here we go. Fowler 10th out behind to the finish line they go. Win light Fowler, 380 on the 379 dial. Dwayne Gallagher 393 with a 003 reaction time. 0-1 the margin down at the stripe for Fowler. Scotty Wise here on the right-hand side out of Ashland, Virginia. The Wise guys, 63 split window, dials in at a 398. And Randy Perkinson on the left-hand side out of South Chesterfield, Virginia. The 67 Mustang dials in at a 383. Looks like Scotty Wise might be having some issues out there in the Corvette. Finally gets it refired. Perkinson already back at the starting line. Elite Top Sportsman here in the PDRA, the home of the world's fastest door cars with dial-ins. Two of them right here, 383 to a 398. It looks like they're going to shut Scotty Wise off here on the starting line as issues persist on the Wise guys Corvette. Actually, car had shut off, and he just gets it refired, but Perkinson was already making the forward motion into the stage beams. Perkinson was 007 dead for to be 11 total at 190 miles an hour. Big time matchup pulling in the water box. Brian LaFlamme, your points leader in the category. He'll be on the right-hand side of the racetrack. The big stuff, DPM 67 Mustang. And number 3 in points on the left-hand side. That's Dwayne Silence out of Jacksonville, North Carolina. The 68 Camaro for Silence Service Center with the Fulton horsepower. He'll be dialed in at a 392. LaFlamme on the right-hand side for Big Stuff TPM, YO Motorsports, and Noonan Race Engineering. 376, the dial-in for Brian. Silence wants a bid at a world championship. He needs to take the points leader down here in round number 1. LaFlamme left or right side. Has a little bit of space. But Tim Lawrence, Dwayne Silence, hot on his heels.
You can see this was a matchup in round 1. What a big one for the World Championship. We've talked about it all weekend long. There's 8 rounds left in these categories. Everyone matters. Here's a good one.
007 reaction time for Silence, and he'll turn on the win light. Dead 7, 14 total, and just takes out your points leader, Brian LaFlamme. Brian couldn't even get there. He ran it out, couldn't catch him. He was mathematically ineligible. But man, what a big round that was for Dwayne Silence. Taking 8 thou down at the stripe and getting it done. 14 total at 180 miles an hour. Wow. Mark Miles next out here on the right-hand side of the racetrack out of Flintstone, Georgia. The Southern Shaker 68 Camaro is going to be dialed in at a 406. And Dan Ferguson, the Hellraiser 2000 Viper for Rossler Trans, Moore Racing Products, and Wilkins Racing Engines. He'll be dialed in at a 387. To a 005. Ferguson has issues. 409 on the 406 for Mark Miles, who was 007 letting go. Ferguson was 005, but we noticed it right before it launched. There was some nitrous that appeared to be leaking around the intake areas, and that might have caused Ferguson right there. Aaron Glasser next out on the left side of the racetrack out of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. The 69 Camaro for Derby City Calibration dials in at a 383. And Scott Duggins here on the right-hand side out of Inman, South Carolina. The par-powered 63 split window dials in at a 389. With a much better reaction time to the top end, but the wind light shines over here for Scott Duggins. Takes 0-1 down at the stripe. 391 on the 389 dial. Glasser goes 389, 1 on the 383, and is no good. Another marquee matchup right here, backing up from their burnouts. Brian Tiff on the right-hand side out of Middleburg Heights, Ohio. The Swede Motorsports 2021 Corvette with the Fulton horsepower. He'll be dialed in at a 381, but Tim Lawrence, left side of the racetrack, the Phantom 2013 Camaro, needs to turn on a win light right here. Points leader Brian LaFlamme knocked out in round one by the guy that's right behind Tim Lawrence in the point standings. Tim Lawrence finds himself number 2. He'll be dialed in at a 391, but has a tough customer here on the right-hand side in Brian Tiff. Over on the left, looks like a purge valve might be stuck for Tim Lawrence. You can see the nitrous shooting out from behind the hood scoop. Big time drama here in the opening round of Magna Fuel Elite Top Sportsman. And Tim Lawrence gets the biggest gift of the day. 19 red by Brian Tiff, and then goes dead 0. Tim Lawrence, 442 on the 391 dial. Just celebrated Christmas here on the starting line. But hey, sometimes you need those rounds to win you a world championship. Bruce Thrift and Brian Stoltz, our next pair out on the racing surface. Stoltz on the right-hand side out of New Lebanon, Ohio. The mighty Joe Young 69 Camaro. 408 the dial. Bruce Thrift left side. The Color Me Gone GTO for Chassis Engineering. TRC Roofing. He'll be dialed in at a 382. inside start for Bruce Thrift. Move Brian Stoltz on. He'll go 020 letting go and one above 409 on the 408. What a matchup. Backing up here from their burnouts, Jeremy Kreisman on the left-hand side. The 2019 Camaro they call Skittles for CNC Chemical. Par Racing Engines, Sam and Dave's Auto Sales. Dials in out of 389. And the Wild Man, your defending world champion here on the right-hand side out of Doylestown, Ohio, and Glenn Butcher. Albert Race Engines, a Bruzy Trans, Hoosier Racing Tire. He'll be dialed in out of 376. Let's see who he's got setting his wheelie bars today. He's had a plethora of people. Over here for Butcher. So Glenn Butcher, earlier this week here at Galat, hung that thing up on the back bumper. I believe the wheelie bars broke. Got her fixed up, comes in as your number 2 qualifier. Comes in here at a 376. Going to try to run down Jeremy Kreisman. A tough runner in the category in Kreisman. And actually, a race number 1 of the PDRA season, Kreisman was your winner here at Galat Motorsports Park. So today is, wow, Kreisman is double 09 red. Glenn Butcher, let's go perfect. And shoes only goes to 440 on the 376, but it was over here on the starting line. So now we're going to make the jump over to Larice Motorsports Insurance, Elite Top Dragster, presented by Greenbrier Excavating and Paving. Our first pair backing up from their burnouts. Bruce Westfall on the left-hand side. Out of Granville, Ohio, the Rapid Transit 2025 Race Tech dials in out of 374. And Angie Travis here on the right out of Hickory, North Carolina. 385, the dial for her machine for Hickory Enclosed Trailer Sales. Westfall takes the tree with them. 001, 383 on the 74 for the dub. Angie Travis was 39 letting go. They're way off. 392 on the 85. Russ Whitlock left side. Out of Mocksville, North Carolina, the 08 Race Tech for Sunrise Tire dials in out of 384. And Alan O'Brien. Greenbrier Excavating 2023 Race Tech here on the right-hand side for Barry Allen Race Engines, Mickey Thompson, and Weavers Automotive. 373 the dial. Buck, 004 red. Alan O'Brien, 18 letting go, dead 9. O'Brien, your points leader, marches on to round number 2. Matthew Buck, left side, out of West Palm Beach, Florida, for Mickey Thompson Tires. His 2025 Miller chassis dials in out of 396. And Steve Furr, the Red Rocket, out of Harrisburg, North Carolina, dials a 379 here on the right side. 001 red light for Matthew Buck. Steve Furr airs it out to go a 377 on the side and moves on to round number next. Vaughn Caulfield here on the right-hand side out of Lake Placid, Florida. The 2019 Mannix chassis for Par Racing Engines and FTI Transmissions dials in out of 380. And Kellen Farmer, left side, Team Race Tech. He'll be dialed in out of 384. Top end, it's going to be Kellen Farmer, 32 letting go. And 3 above, Vaughn Caulfield's 23 on the let go, and then runs out by 6 thou, taking 46 thousandths. All right, we've got one on the clock back here, but there's 4 vehicles that we need moved. North Carolina tag KMV 8346. I have no idea what kind of vehicle. A GMC with handicap tags YRU 002. And a Ford Super Duty TJ 3510. Another Super Duty handicap Georgia tag YME 026. We need all these vehicles moved, please. So Danielle Gonzalez here on the right-hand side out of Wallingford, Connecticut. Going to be on a competition single as Brian Anderson's machine out of Carson, Virginia, not going to fire at the ready line. 379 to dial in for Gonzalez. Gonzalez here on the right-hand side. Let's go 42. Dead 8 to be 50 total on the competition single. Big time matchup right here. Josh Duggins on the left-hand side out of Inman, South Carolina. The 2015 Maddox for Par Racing Engines and Hoosier Tire dials in out of 369. And Larry Roberts here on the right-hand side for Roberts Equipment and Repair, the 2016 Race Tech. He'll be dialed in out of 378. And why is this a big one? Alan O'Brien, your points leader, already made it through the opening round. Kyle Harris, Jody Stroud. I don't think they're on the property anymore. Roberts sits number 4 in the point standings and can move up with a round win right here, but a tough customer, and Josh Duggins waits on the left side. Got a little bit of a burn down going on here. Roberts, it's a big round for him, but Duggins goes ahead and lights the stage bulb, and here we go. $2,000 separate him, and the win light goes to Larry Roberts. 380 on the 78. Duggins can't run the number. 374 on the 369. Had a $2,000 better time in an 11. But just can't run the number. Lindsey Coleman backs up here on the right-hand side. The Platinum Coast Properties, Cousins Towing, Donnie and Julie Wilson, 375 the dial. Supposed to face off against Kyle Harris, the defending world champion. Not making the call. Coleman, 003 red, dead 9. Back half, Top Sportsman, we need you. Back half, Top Sportsman, we need you to the staging lanes, please. Michael White, left side at Arden, North Carolina. CNC Chemical, Par Racing Engine, Sam and Dave's Auto Sales, $377 the dial. And Brian Main here on the right-hand side for Affordable Trans, 660 race car. Dials in at a 4 flat. Brian Main lays down 29 total and gets there by 2,000 for the win. Michael White was 19 letting go and one above, no good. Back half, Top Sportsman, we've called you. Back half, Top Sportsman, we've called you. Classic Graphics, Top Junior Dragsters, presented by Philadelphia Racing Products. First pair, Ashton Hollis and Emma Crane. No, I'm sorry. This is Pro Junior. Let's regroup. Paragon Pro Junior Dragsters, presented by Racing Products. Always forget there's an extra round of them. 32 car field, Ashton Hollis, Emma Crane, 790, the index that these guys run on in girls. Hollis on the left side out of Williamsville, New York. The Race Star wheels, FTI, Hoosier. Emma Crane right-hand side of Maryland. Emma Crane with the whole shot win by 7 thousandths of a second. 793 on the 90 index with a 007 reaction time. Gets it done for Crane. Caitlin Page, left side of the racetrack out of Forest, Virginia. 2023 Mike Boss chassis. Cameron Boyd on the right-hand side of the Bunker Hill, West Virginia, the 09.5 scale. Shot win. 24 going by the tree, 93 on the Caitlin Page with the quicker but losing 791. Was 49 going by the tree. Charlie O'Mara next out left side of Clayton, North Carolina, the Redzilla Mike Boss chassis. Quality Auto Shop, Celtic Creamery, and Burke's Brothers Flooring. Number 2 in the point standings, making a late season charge here on the right-hand side is Carter Jackson, Powhatan, Virginia. And in a dual breakout, number 2 in points is out. Charlie O'Mara, 788. Carter Jackson goes through at a 787.9. To move Charlie O'Mara to round number 2. Aiden Tillman left side out of Henrico, Virginia for Hubble Motorsports. Mackenzie Alexander, your points leader in the category on the right-hand side. Mackenzie out of Mechanicsville, Virginia for F&J and Sun Construction. Win light goes to Aiden Tillman, and your points leader is out of here. 1 and 2 in points gone here in the opening round. Tillman goes to 793 with 17 going by the tree. Lane Morgan next out, right-hand side. Angier, North Carolina for D&T Enterprises and Hubbard HVAC. TJ Harvey over on the left-hand side of the racetrack for Highland Enterprises and CK Motorsports. TJ, 006, 91 with a 9 on the 90 index. Beats the quicker but losing Lane Morgan, who was 30 going by the tree, dead 8.